Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Cycle on Global Television, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Jumai Manson. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365, Star Times channel 276, and Free TV. Now the news info. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has reaffirmed his administration's commitment to strengthening national security through the deployment of emerging technologies, intelligence-driven operations, and modern military capabilities to combat terrorism and other threats. Presented by Vice President Kashim Shettima at the grand finale of the 2026 Nigerian Army Day celebration and the Maiden African Land Forces Forum in Port Harcourt. The president said the federal government was investing in modern military hardware, research, innovation, and personal development to enhance the armed forces' operational readiness. Tinubu also pledged to revitalize the Defense Industries Corporation of Nigeria to boost local production of military equipment, reduce reliance on foreign suppliers, and build a self-sustaining defense industry, enabling in this capable of supporting the nation's security needs. Moving on now, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has flagged off the rehabilitation of the Bama Banki and Dawa Gamburi Ngala Road in Borno State, describing the project as critical to improving security and restoring economic activities in the northeast. Kabir Hassan reports.
Represented by the Vice President, Kashim Shettima, President Tinubu said the road project will strengthen security, improve access to border communities, and support the recovery of areas affected by insurgency.
We are rehabilitating roads, improving links between farms and markets, and strengthening connections between communities and centers of commerce. Our transport vision also extends beyond roads. We believe that efficient railways reduce pressure on highways, lower freight costs, connect production centers to markets, and give Nigeria safer trips. The Bama Banki corridor carries social strategic weight. It is a root of agriculture, movement, and national security. Its rehabilitation will improve access, strengthen cross-border economic activity, support the movement of farm produce, and enhance the reach of our security agencies.
The president said the road will also improve cross-border movement with Cameroon and Chad, creating opportunities for trade and economic growth across the region. Minister of Works, David Umahi, said the project are part of the federal government legacy infrastructure program aimed at restoring critical road network, improving regional connectivity, and supporting lasting peace and development in the northeast.
Road infrastructure, not only in the northeast, it is a larger, program of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu in fighting insecurity. When this project is done, our people in the northeast will benefit because it's leading us to Chad and to Cameroon. But the greater interest in it is that our military forces, we have roads to combat whatever might be left of the insurgency by the time this project is completed.
The federal government says the project forms part of its strategic infrastructure program aimed at improving security, enhancing connectivity, and driving sustainable development across the northeast. Kabir Hassan, Global TV News.
The Federal Workers Forum, FWF, has called on the federal government to approve 300,000 naira national minimum wage, while also demanding the immediate payment of outstanding wage awards, salary arrears, and other workers' entitlement. The demand was made by the national coordinator of the forum, Andrew Emeleze, in a statement issued in Abuja. The group also urged the government to settle the outstanding 2-month wage award owed to the federal workers since June 2024, pay the arrears of 40% peculiar allowance, and complete the implementation of 70,000 naira national minimum wage, including all outstanding salary arrears arising from its implementation. The Nigerian Union of Teachers Federal Capital Territory Wing has protested the inclusion of vacancy as a criterion for promotion of teachers. Chairman of the union, Abdullahi Shafas, who led the protest, appealed to the chairman of the FCT Civil Service Commission, Emeka Eze, to remove the vacancy condition for promotion. The union officials and members stormed the headquarters of the National Open University Abuja venue of the ongoing 2025 promotion examinations for 13,000 FCT administration workers to communicate their demands. The Nigerian Education Loan Fund, NELFund, has revealed plans to replace its current system of paying tuition fees directly to tertiary institutions with digital token-based payment system. And the managing director of NELFund, Akintunde Soya, disclosed this during an interview, stating that the move is aimed at eliminating double payments and improving transparency in the disbursement process. He explained that the planned upgrade would give students greater control over when their tuition payments are made, while ensuring funds are used solely for educational purposes. The federal government has inaugurated the Tertiary Institutions National Laureate Committee to drive academic excellence and promote innovation, research, and scholarship across Nigeria's higher education sector. The committee, inaugurated by the Minister of Education, Tunji Alausa, would oversee the implementation of the National Laureate Program, an annual initiative that will reward outstanding undergraduates, masters, and doctoral research with prizes worth about 365 million naira. Now, the program is aimed at recognizing exceptional academic achievements and positioning research and innovation as key drivers of national development. The federal government has urged Nigerians in South Africa who fear for their safety to take advantage of its final evacuation flights, warning that there are no signs that the situation is improving amid ongoing xenophobic attack that have claimed the lives of 2 Nigerians. In a statement, Minister of Foreign Affairs Bianca Ojukwu said Nigeria remained deeply concerned about the safety of its citizens following the ongoing xenophobic protests and attacks of migrants. The minister said Nigeria had demanded action from South African authorities. The federal government has directed the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission, FCCPC, to investigate ex-Meta, other major technology companies, and generative artificial intelligence AI firms over allegations of anti-competitive practices affecting Nigerians' media industry. The directive followed a joint petition submitted to presidency by the Nigerian Press Organization, comprising the Newspaper Proprietors Association of Nigeria, the Nigerian Union of Journalists, the Broadcasting Organizations of Nigeria, and the Guild of Corporate Online Publishers. According to the statement issued by the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission, the directive was conveyed in a letter signed by the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, requesting the Commission to investigate the allegations contained in the petition. The presidential candidate of the African Action Congress, AAC, Omoyele Sowore, has opened his defense in the alleged cybercrime charges filed against him by the federal government. Sowore called human rights activist and lawyer Deji Adeyanju and his first defense witness. Ubong Usoro reports.
The federal government, through the Department of State Services, DSS, instituted the case against Omoyele Sowore, accusing him of alleged cyber stalking over social media posts in which he referred to President Bola Tinubu as a criminal. At the commencement of the defense, the prosecuting counsel, Akinlolu Kehinde, objected to the appearance of Deji Adeyanju as witness, arguing that he was counsel on record for Sowore and was therefore not competent to testify. Responding, Sowore's counsel, Olumide Fusika, described the objection as baseless, explaining that the law permits a lawyer who is expected to testify in a matter to withdraw as counsel on record before giving evidence. He also told the court that Adeyanju had already stepped down from the case.
Where we have with our lead lawyer is that we want for the lawyers that are appointed by so because they wanted to remain completely a legal issue because there's a new legal thesis in the party. And as we are aware, the defense started today. And we expect to see this as an open court for journalists go in there and cover the case as it is progressing.
After hearing submission from both parties, the court overruled the prosecution's objection and held that Adeyaju was competent to testify, allowing him to proceed as the first defense witness. The ruling marks the commencement of the defense phase of the trial, following the close of prosecution's case.
Today, that even the prosecutor, who is the senior advocate of Nigeria, said that he's waiting for me to convince him so that he can vote for me in the election. That's progress made today. We are close to winning an additional vote. But shout power!
The alleged cybercrime charges against Showery have attracted significant public attention, with rights groups and civil society organizations closely monitoring the proceedings because of their implication for freedom of expression, press freedom, and administration of justice. The case was adjourned for continuation of the defense. Ubong Usoro, Global TV News.
The Federal High Court in Abuja has adjourned judgment in a forfeiture suit filed by the EFCC against 57 properties linked to former Attorney General of the Federation, AGF Abubakar Malami San. Until July 10th, Judge Abdul Malik fixed a date after EFCC's lawyer Jibrin Okukpe San and counsel to Malami and other respondents Adedayo Adedeji San adopted their processes and presented their arguments for the case against. Although no reason was adduced for the shift in the date, 3 other cases on the cause list were also given new dates out of the 13 matters before the court. Over on to the Nigerian Democratic Congress, NDC has criticized the Delta State House of Assembly over its decision to declare the seat of Collins Egbetena, representing Udu constituency, vacant, following his defection from the All Progressive Congress, APC, to the NDC. In a statement by its National Publicity Secretary, Osa Director, the party described the action as unconstitutional and alleged that it violated Egbetena's right to freedom of association. The NDC also called on the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, not to act on the Assembly's decision, stating that it intends to challenge the matter through legal channels. You are watching the live broadcast of News Cycle. News Cycle continues after this weather forecast, plus business, foreign and sports stories on the other side of the break. Please stay with us.
Hello once again. It was a fairly quiet Monday morning across most parts of the country, although residents in the coastal parts of Cross River State woke up to some early morning rainfall. And as we go into Tuesday, the atmosphere is expected to remain generally calm and stable, although there's a chance of morning rains in parts of Lagos, Ondo, Edo Delta, Bayelsa, and Rivers State, with some morning rumbling of thunder and rains in parts of Taraba and Adamawa states. Further into the day, isolated thunderstorms are expected in the north and north central, with light to moderate rains in the southern region of the country. Cooler temperatures are being observed in the southern region, so stay with us, as coming up next is the temperature forecast. I am Theodora Itzum. Thank you for watching.
You're welcome back, and if you're just tuning in, this is News Cycle on Global Television. Thank you for staying with us. In business now, the federal government has convened Dangote Refinery, the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission, FCCPC, the Petroleum Products Retail Outlets Owners Association of Nigeria, Petron, and other oil and gas stakeholders for a meeting on the fair reduction of the price of premium motor spirit, PMS, nationwide. The development comes days after the Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Oil, Hanaki Lapobiri, directed petroleum marketers to immediately reduce the pump price of premium motor spirit and other petroleum products to reflect the recent deadline in global oil prices. A stakeholders meeting being held at the headquarters of the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority in Abuja is expected to enable participants to discuss issues affecting the price. But moving on now, the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, has plans to issue 2 trillion naira in treasury bills across the 3 July auction dates, compared with just 647.79 billion naira in bills scheduled to mature during the month. The first major auction of the month is scheduled for Wednesday, July 8, 2026, when the CBN will offer 700 billion naira across the 3 tenures. At that auction, existing T-bills totaling 269.36 billion naira will mature and be rolled over, comprising 94.82 billion naira in 91-day bill and 48.23 billion naira in 182-day bills and 126.31 billion naira in 364-day bills. This implies a net liquidity withdrawal of approximately 1.35 trillion naira through T-bills in July alone, the single largest monthly net T-bill withdrawal plan for 2026 so far. The Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited says the recently signed memorandum of understanding with Chinese firms for the rehabilitation and operation of Port Harcourt and Warri refineries has entered a rigorous evaluation phase, insisting that the arrangement is aimed at creating profitable and self-sustaining refinery assets. The Group Chief Executive Officer of NNPCL Limited, Bayo Ojulari, disclosed this in a post on his official X handle, and growing calls from petroleum marketers and operators for the federal government to fast-track discussions to finally restore the country's troubled state-owned refineries to full operations. Ojulari said reviving Nigeria's refineries require more than simple replacing equipment and carrying out repairs. On the foreign scene, United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres has called for urgent global action to regulate artificial intelligence, warning that the technology is advancing faster than governments can manage. Speaking at the first UN Global Dialogue on AI governance in Geneva, he said the world must ensure AI serves humanity rather than shaping its future without oversight. Mukhtar Qasim tells us more.
Artificial intelligence is transforming industries, economies, and societies at an unprecedented pace, prompting growing concerns about safety, accountability, and the concentration of power among a handful of companies and countries. Addressing government, technology firms, and civil society leaders in Geneva, United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres warned that AI is no longer simply following instructions, but is increasingly making decisions with less human oversight.
Artificial intelligence is advancing at runaway speed. A technology that can reshape economies, transform the world of work, sway elections, and tilt the balance of security is being deployed faster than anyone, including the people building it, can keep up.
Guterres said the world must adopt common standards to evaluate AI risk, protect human rights, and ensure children are not exposed to unsafe technologies. He also called for a global fund to help developing countries benefit from AI and urged companies to power data centers with renewable energy by 2030. The UN chief further warned against the development of fully autonomous weapons, describing so-called killer robots as morally unacceptable and calling for an international legal ban.
AI is already transforming our world. The question is whether we will shape this transformation together or let it shape us. And these systems are no longer tools awaiting instruction. They are writing code, acting online, and making choices with less and less human oversight.
Guterres urged countries to act quickly, warning that the current generation may be the last with the opportunity to establish global rules that ensure artificial intelligence remains safe, ethical, and beneficial to humanity. Mukhtar Qasim, Global TV News.
Demand for air conditioning is rising across the United Kingdom as increasingly intense heat waves push more households to seek relief. However, climate experts are warning that widespread reliance on cooling systems could worsen energy demand and environmental challenges. Mukhtar Qasim reports.
Once considered a luxury in Britain, air conditioning is becoming increasingly common as record-breaking summer temperatures have left many homes unbearably hot. Installers say demand from homeowners have surged following recent heat waves, with retailers also reporting increased sales of portable cooling units as consumers scramble to cope with the rising temperature.
When I started when I was 19, I didn't really notice it much domestically. All my work was up London, it was shops, offices, but I'm noticing now it's pushing to the more domestic market, and I'm getting busier and busier domestically where people want it in their houses, and there's definitely a demand. It's getting, as the temperature's getting hotter, it's definitely more of a demand.
Having two openings in one wall, because a lot of our rooms may be restricted to one wall, which is facing the outside, so we can have.
Experts say while air conditioning offers immediate relief, it also increases electricity consumption, raises carbon emissions, and releases more heat into already warm urban environments. They are instead urging homeowners to improve insulation, ventilation, shading, and other natural cooling measures, reserving air conditioning for situations where it is genuinely necessary.
It was too unbearable, and I think given that we spend so much more time at home now, especially with remote working, I work from home quite a lot. It's not just about it being comfortable, you know, we need to be able to function in the house, and it was just getting very unbearable. Even opening the doors, like, you wouldn't get a breeze. It was just very stifling. So yeah, we needed that to just kind of be able to spend more time at home.
Scientists say climate change is making heat waves more frequent and intense across the UK, prompting calls for long-term investment in the climate-resilient buildings rather than relying solely on air conditioning to beat the heat. Mukhtar Qasim, Global TV News.
In sports stories now, Kada Stars have underlined their supremacy in Nigerian hockey, winning a 6th consecutive Hockey Super League title after completing an unbeaten campaign at the 2026 championship in Abuja. The Kaduna-based champions sealed a record 9th National League crown with a thrilling 3-2 victory over Plateau Tigers in their final match at the Moshood Abiola National Stadium. Sports correspondent Anita Patrick reports.
Kada Stars won all 8 league fixtures to finish with a perfect 24 points ahead of Police Machine in second place and Plateau Tigers in third. It was a memorable outing for Kaduna State as Kada Queens also emerged champions in the women's category with 16 points, completing a historic league double ahead of Plateau Queens and Delta. President of the Nigerian Hockey Federation, Engineer Simon Nkom, described the 2026 Super League as the most successful edition ever, citing the high standard of competition, strong stakeholder participation, and growing interest in the sports.
I would have said modestly, better than all the past years, but as rather put it this way, it's the best ever for Nigerian Hockey Federation, because it's not just the artistics, the presence of the number of people that are here, but the dignitaries that are here.
Nkom also announced that the National Sports Commission, with federal government support, has approved the replacement of Nigeria's aging hockey pitch with a modern blue artificial turf that meets international standards. He said the new facility will improve playing conditions, enhance television coverage, and boost the overall development of hockey in the country.
President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, in line with developing sports and sports facilities and infrastructure, has directed the chairman, the National Sports Commission, to ensure that these facilities are developed.
We need to give all glory and thanks to Almighty God for making it possible, and also I want to thank the team because the collective efforts putting together to make sure that hockey has a brand new face, which you all have seen today.
The Federation president added that Nigeria's national teams are making steady progress, noting that the days of heavy defeats to African powerhouses are gradually fading as improved infrastructure and player development continue to raise the country's competitive standards. With another dominant league campaign and renewed investment in facilities, Nigerian hockey appears set for a new era of sustained growth and greater international competitiveness. Anitie Patrick, Global TV News.
And that's it on News Cycle. Here's a quick reminder that Global TV is on DSTV channel 365, Star Times channel 276, and Free TV. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms now showing on your screen by using @Global TV NG. I am Jumai Manson. Thank you for watching. Good evening.